hear Rowan quickly eat. I like threw my boob in his face. And I'm like, all right, see you later. I got to get on a call. So sorry, guys. Keeping it real. Keeping it real over here. Okay, let's get rolling so we can kind of be respectful of everybody's time. Let me share my screen here. And, I can't, Bridget, saying I can't do it. Host disabled attendee screen. Can you shift that somehow?
Let me just figure out how. I just literally watched a share screen. Here we go. You should be able to now.
Okay, perfect. Let me know if you guys can see this.
Yes, we can.
Can you guys see this? Okay. So, is it okay? Okay, perfect. I'm gonna try to move this a little bit and go through the slides. So first things first, guys, just so I can kind of, clearly self-explanatory, but I am not an Instagram expert. So I want to make that really clear. I participated in this challenge live. Bridget purchased it after the fact. But when I did it and I went through it, I was like, I know that I need the VIP access to this so I can help teach my team. And Bridget really felt the same way. And so I'm really excited to share this with you guys. I would say first and foremost, as we go through this, make sure that you're really making an effort to follow Brock and Chalene Johnson on Instagram. They really are a wealth of knowledge when it comes to how to authentically grow and how to add value. And I will say the biggest thing that I learned above all else was adding value and how that actually applies to growing your audience and your ability to connect with other people. Like Bridget was saying, when we first started as coaches, the Instagram space was so different. Like Instagram literally launched and became popular in the Beachbody community, like within a year of me starting to coach, which is right around when Bridget started too. We started around the same time. And so we were posting so much more, like 5 to 7 times a day, like she said, and just random stuff. And it's so different now on how to get targeted down with value. So let's go through this. This first lesson is really about profile and niching down on your message as far as what you're sharing. So I want you guys to have your phones available so you can kind of think through this as I'm talking. I'm going to kind of flip through the slides as they make sense. They kind of did this. They gave us the slides just in a PDF. They had it in a slideshow, like they're playing it from PowerPoint. So it's not going to be as pretty, so to speak, as I go through it, but we'll kind of get rolling here. So the first section of this is the profile makeover. And I'm going to actually scroll down here to the end and have all of the bullets so we can go through it one by one. I want to make sure I get all of them. Okay. So here is, can you guys see this whole slide? I want to make sure you can see everything. Okay. Can you guys give me a thumbs up if you can see this? You good? Okay. So profile makeover. So if you guys go to your Instagram right now and you open up your profile, which is essentially the top piece of your specific homepage, so to speak. So I'm not going to be as good as them about showing this, but like, so you guys can see like all of this up here, like picture, all of this right here, all this text, that's considered your profile. That's what we're going to be talking about right now. And again, I'm going to do my best to really go through what I remember and my notes to talk through this. But really, the experts are Chalene and Brock. And so if you guys have other things that you're still curious about or you want to figure out how do I do more of this, make sure you go over to them and look at what they're sharing on Instagram consistently. Okay, so the first thing that I want you guys to really think about, maybe even right now, I'll give you guys like 1 to 2 minutes here just to think about this. I want you to think about who you really want to help. And it's interesting because when I first started, and even now, I will be honest, like I just feel like I'm always evolving my message a little bit of who I want to help. So for example, like my line, so to speak, in my profile says, here to empower mamas to live an energized life by putting health first on that crazy to-do list. So the biggest thing with identifying who you want to help is it has to be really specific, like super specific, because you want somebody to know right off the bat when they come to your profile what you're about and who you help. So being really specific, and then also really talking about like an identifying component of who you are that they might be able to see themselves in. So I say specifically that I help empower mamas or moms or mothers, because that's truly the market that I'm looking at, or that's the niche that I'm really trying to target. I'm really trying to look for moms who have maybe lost their identity, lost their sense of how to take care of themselves, feel like they're drowning in the needs of their family and their kids. And I want to help them prioritize putting health first on their never-ending to-do list. That's what my identification right now of who I want to help looks like. So I want you guys to think about, what does yours look like right now? And maybe how can you get more specific? Like, I know when I first started, I was just like, I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was very general. Like, I help moms get healthy. What does that mean? What does healthy mean? What kind of moms? Is it a new mom? Is it a seasoned mom? Is it a soccer mom? Is it a mom who's financially savvy like Bridget? So you want to really think about when you're identifying who you want to help, getting super specific. So that's the first thing. So if you guys don't have anything written down right now, I'm not going to obviously go through everybody's profile at this point in time, but I want you guys to be jotting right now down, like, what is your one-liner for who you help? And as you guys are kind of thinking about that, drop it into the chat. I'd love to kind of see some of the ones you guys have, or even if you have one, drop it into the chat already. And we can kind of brainstorm through one or two of them to talk about, is it specific enough? How can we niche down even more, et cetera, et cetera. Clarifying your topic and niche is the same thing. It's literally just really trying to drill down on the type of person that you want to help. And so for me, like I've talked about, this piece has been continuously evolving because I feel like I learn a little more every day about who I want to help and who I don't necessarily want to help, or who isn't necessarily my niche. So just know, guys, that this is always evolving. It's just really good to continue to get educated about it and really think about how you can continue to get more specific. Okay, so now we're going to talk about business account. Will you guys drop in the chat yes or no if you have a business account? Yes. Yeah, oh, no, Chelsea. Okay. Bridget has yes. Okay. Okay, Chelsea. So just no. Okay, perfect. No big deal. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about the importance of it, because this has been huge, especially as you start to figure out, okay, I'm shifting from just doing like the me show and sharing who I am, and shifting to how do I add value to the people that are following me, and what do I do to really, oh my gosh, why is it, sorry guys, my little like mic is not turning off. Hold on, Siri will not turn off. But anyways, can you guys see all this popping up? This is ridiculous. Hold on. Why won't this let me close? Hold on. Sorry, guys.
I don't see anything else. I just see your
Okay. I see my Siri, like I have my wireless headphones on, and it keeps thinking I say, hey, Siri. And then when I say, whatever, never mind. Anyways, back to business account. So there's two reasons this is really, really good. The first is analytics and insights. And so when you have a business account in Instagram, it allows you to see like how many followers you get from a post, how many people are following or engaging with a post that found you through hashtags that you're using. Like all of these specific metrics that will help you figure out, whether or not your posts are valuable to the people that are following you. So I want to quickly talk through this. Okay, so we're going to go to, I just want to make sure I know exactly how to do this before I show you guys. Okay, so you're going to go to, let me see here, go to your home profile. You're going to click on the three lines up here. When you click on the 3 lines, you're going to go to, hold on, settings right up at the top. Click settings. And then you're going to click on account. Hold on, where is it? Where am I pointing? Account is right here. Click on account. And then you're going to see at the bottom, you can switch to personal or business. Okay. I highly recommend switching to business account. And this is something that Chalene and Brock taught solely because it helps you understand the insights within your profile. And insights are, again, gauging who's engaging. Like, it gives you all kinds of different metrics related to, time of day and gender and city and the amount, like the age group. And then it talks about, like, how people find you from hashtags, what percentage of people are finding you from there, who follows you based on a post you share. So if you do not have a business profile, I highly recommend switching over, because as a business owner, you want to know what your audience thinks, like what your audience is finding valuable when it comes to what you're sharing. So that is a really big thing that Brock and Chalene swear by. It's something that I switched over to a business account. It's been a while now, but quite honestly, I'm learning more and more about how to actually utilize it effectively the more I do training and the more I learn about Instagram. So that is number one right now for you guys, like, especially as newer coaches and as you guys are getting your feet wet, and as we're going to teach you the importance about really sharing value, you're going to want your profile to say business account. So make sure that you switch over to that. And if you guys have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and let me know. Chelsea, awesome, done. Everybody else seems to have a business account, which is great. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. All right, best usernames. Let's talk about that. So one of the things that I actually learned through this training, which I didn't really know, is the bolded, hold on, let me show you guys. The bolded line, it's hard for me to point. The bolded line right here is a searchable term in Instagram, okay? So you do not have to have your name in that bolded line in addition to your username. Honestly, the best username to have is your own personal name. Why? Because people can easily search you by your name, and then more people can search you by the actual bolded search terms that you put in that descriptive line. So for me, I have health coach and business mentor. Honestly, that's something that I am constantly trying to figure out. Okay, how can I, like, if I was going on Instagram and doing a Google search, basically looking for someone like me, what would I type in? Like, that's the kind of mindset I'm trying to put into my head, because that's truly how people can utilize that bolded field. Okay, so it truly is a searchable term, just like Google. And I want you guys to think about that, because I know I literally just changed this once I went through this training, because for a long time I had my name in there plus what I was. But now, because my username is Erin.Trier, people can find me by my name there. And then they can find me as a business coach or health coach or business mentor or health. If they type anything with those words into the search bar of Instagram, they could potentially find me. So that's the best way to really maximize username versus name field, okay? So if you guys have that repetitive in your profile, I would suggest changing it. The interesting thing that I learned is you only have a certain amount of changes you can make within a 14-day period. So before you go into your profile and like start to play around with, oh, I kind of like this, actually I want to change it, like Instagram will eventually stop you and say you can't make any more changes for another 2 weeks. So I would jot this down on paper. Think about your clarifying statement of who you want to help. Think about your niche. Think about how you're getting specific. Think about what you want your username, like your @username, to be. Then think about what do you want your bolded line to be to describe who you are and what you do, and then go in and change it all at once. But like, do your drafts, so to speak, on like a piece of paper or in the notes on your phone or something. Don't do it in Instagram, because they'll stop you and then you'll have to wait. And that's kind of what I had to do. So just an FYI on that. Okay. Let's scroll down here a little bit because I want to we'll talk about all of the other things in this list, but I want to show you kind of what Shalene and Brock shared. So I just talked through all this. We talked about switching to a business account. So you guys can see, we just went through this. Go to account, switch to business. Creator we talked about, but it's not really necessary. I'm not going to go into that. Quite honestly, I don't understand very much of it. Business profile is really all you really need to know. And then edit profile is how you actually change everything I just talked about. The bolded line, your username, and then we're going to talk about profile picture here too, because Shalene and Brock talked about actually how much it makes a really big difference to have a really zoomed in profile picture. So that's another thing to really evaluate right now when you're making over your specific Instagram profile. What kind of picture do you have? Is it very clear, like what you look like and who you are? Because it's easy. You can even see between these two profile pictures with Shalene that she's zoomed in significantly on her second one. And it's just like fun and fresh. And they talked about the importance of just really showing who you are and making sure that people can see you. And it doesn't have to be, they talked about this a lot, which I really appreciated. Like, it doesn't have to be like this perfect photo shoot profile picture like Shalene's is, but they just talked about having it be a clear, fun, genuine picture of you and making sure that it's really zoomed in so people can see you. And the reason for that they talked about mostly is because you want people to see you as clearly and as vividly as possible in DM messages. And if you go through DM messages, like if you guys switch over really quickly right now and look at DMs, you'll see like you can see your little bubble in the DMs. And if your profile picture is really far away, like you're microscopic in the DMs. And so you want to just, again, like get your face in front of people, make sure it's very vividly clear so people can see who you are, and zoom it in. I think I'm going to probably adjust my profile picture. That's something that I want to continually play with. But another thing for you guys to think about as you're evaluating your makeover here. And then they gave some examples of good profile pictures. A couple other ones. Like these are just super unique. And it's interesting because this one is super zoomed out. And they just talk about, it's really about your style. But like this one specifically with Ice Culinary, they also talked about how you can actually drop your brand into profile pictures. For us, our brand is us. So you should have a profile picture of yourself and it should be vivid and clear. But they were just giving examples of some really good branded icon specific profile pictures. So just to kind of show you guys what those look like, here's a couple other ones. TRX, super basic, clear. Like the thing is just have it be clear. You don't want it to be messy or overwhelming in any way. And that's basically all of that. Okay. Let's go to this. So this is your specific like bio template based on lines in your profile. So I'll show you guys really quickly mine. So basically mine is, let me try to zoom. My name up here, that's my username, profile picture, bolded, searchable terms of who I am and what I do. The first line is who I help. Can you guys still hear me? It says my internet's unstable. Okay, so first line is who I help. Second line is my expertise or credibility. Third line is call to action and a link to a link tree, a Google form, something like that. Now, the first line we've already talked about. The second line we haven't talked about yet, so let's quickly talk about this. Second line should really be, like it says, some sort of expertise and credibility. For me, I have my background, like my schooling background, my working background, and that I'm a mom to 4, because I think that honestly is a large part of my credibility. I've somehow figured out how to help women and build a business at home, managing our home with 4 kids, etc. So I don't want you to ever discount any part of who you are and what you do. I think the biggest thing to really relate to you guys from this piece of what they shared is you want it to obviously be, you want it to showcase some sort of overlap with the work that you do now. Okay. So my MSW social work background and my human resources background, I feel very strongly showcase that I have worked in a lot of people services industries. Okay. So that's why I feel very strongly that those things make sense for my expertise and credibility related to health coaching and being a business mentor, because it shows that I've, been around working with people in different atmospheres. I will say this is something that I'm also evaluating a lot. Like, what other kind of credibility or expertise can I give? But whatever your background might be and how you feel it might translate over to what you do now as a business owner and help people, that's what should be in your second line. So you want to talk about that and showcase that. A couple quick bullets, and they give some examples here that I'll scroll to in a second. And then the third line, most of you guys know this because Bridget and I teach this and we do it on our profiles and we've shared with you guys. Most often it's a link to a Google form to join us for a group, to request information for a mentorship, to download some sort of freebie, something like that, right? So you always want some sort of link in there so people know how to get in touch with you. When I'm not in launch mode, like when we don't have a group coming up and I'm not in a launch mode and I'm not talking about people joining, I put my website link up there. I have my own website that I've put together just as a creative outlet for me. It's absolutely 100% not something you need. It's just a matter of you figuring out how do you want to continue to help people know how to connect with you. I will say, and Bridget can maybe chime in on this too if she wants to, but I've done a couple different business trainings. One of the other business trainings I did with Kayla Ibanez talked specifically about Linktree and how Linktree can kind of go either way. Most often, guys, from what I've understood, because people are very mindless and have like a 3-second attention span when they're going through Instagram and on your profile, like anything that allows them to have to click and then click again and then click again and then go to this and then go to that is potential for them to get lost. Most often the best thing to do with a CTA or link or call to action is it to just be one click to a something, whether it's a PDF they can download, a place they can enter their email to get on your newsletter, a direct link to your form. Like, I have not done Linktree for a while and I haven't seen it really make a difference either way, but I will say it just feels cleaner to me rather than having it be, click on my Linktree and then scroll through these 25 different options and then click on this option and then finally fill out the form. Like, from what I've learned from other business mentors, that can become overwhelming for people and you can lose them because, again, attention span is very short and you only have a very short amount of time to get people interested in your profile through these 3 lines. And then to actually click into a link, you want it to be as seamless and as brainless as possible. Okay, I'm going to stop for a second and look at the chat.
Hey, Erin, would you,
Yeah.
I have, I usually have a form, which just remind me, I have to change it back to just my form, because otherwise I had Linktree in there just in between when we don't have, when I'm not, what's the word, marketing for something or?
Launch.
Yes, when I'm not in launch mode. So then I put up Linktree because I would love to, someday do a freebie type of thing or add, like if you think of like add to newsletter or something when it's just general. But I agree, when it's launch mode, it should just be your form. And then obviously launch mode for coach mentorship for that as well.
Right. Yeah, I mean, honestly, guys, you can play with it. I just think sometimes we have to be realistic about things like Linktree, and there's like campsite bio. There's so many fluffy, beautiful options. And honestly, from what I've learned, and you can obviously do what works for you, but from what I've learned, like it just is a lot of fluff. It's a lot of fluff that you don't need to be spending time on, that will not result in extra conversion at this point in our businesses. Like, it literally just needs to be, who do you help? What is your expertise? A direct link to how to work with you. And that's it. And that was one of the things that Chalene and Brock talked a lot about in their training is like, you got to understand that Instagram works differently for different people based on where you're at in your business and your following. So even somebody that has above 10K followers or 20 followers or 30K followers, like they can like finesse Instagram a different way than someone like me, for example, who is still under the 10K mark. And I'm assuming that most of us are probably in that same boat. And because of that, you have to understand like there's different like nuances to know about really helping people quickly see how they can work with you. So I don't know if you guys have any questions on those specific things. Let me look back in the chat here really fast. What if your name isn't available? Did you figure that out, Ashley? It looks like you did.
Ashley, do you have another question? You can unmute yourself.
Yeah.
No,
And Brock
I just
Johnson.
was going to say, and I told this to Bridget this morning, but I have been guilty of looking at other coaches on our team who are moving faster than, say, myself. And I'm like, oh, that's what they're linking in their bio. So then I tried to do that, and I couldn't keep with the uptake. And so, and it's like what you were saying, Erin, it's a lot of fluff, because when I clicked on it, I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. Like, I haven't spent any time on that. Well, when I finally did spend time on it, it was an hour. Well, that's a power hour where I could have done so much more. And so it's refreshing to hear like a Google form is quick and there's no fluff. And I just want to go back to that. So you answered it with what you said. I was wondering if they suggested anything specifically, but no, that was helpful. I just want to encourage everybody like on the call, do what's best for you. Cause here I am trying to do what this other coach on our overall team is doing, and it just didn't work for me. It was not updated. It was not something that I found like productive for me, yet I was still trying to use it, and it didn't help me at all.
Right. And it's just such a good reminder to just, it's so hard to do this, guys, but stay in your lane. Like Bridget and I literally talk about this all the time. And it's so easy when you got the whole, like just so much information, and this person posting this and this person sharing this and this power hour to hop on and this person saying do it this way. And like you kind of just have to really figure out, how do I learn what I need to learn based on what works for me? And then how do I put my blinders on and stay in my lane to figure out like what is going to help me put one foot in front of the other, being successful in a way that feels good to me and my business. And again, like one of the things I've learned more than anything in business mentorship, guys, is how much is fluff. Like so much is fluff. Literally all we need to be doing is offering value and encouraging people to join us. Like all of the other stuff is not the make or break. And I can tell you that like something like Linktree or Campsite Bio or something like that, it's just fluffy from what I've learned and from what I've heard and seen. Linktree is free. Yes, Melissa. And there's a couple others. Campsite Bio is another one. I mean, if you Google search, there's a bazillion now. There's a bunch. How do you add a link with limited character space? Okay, so this is good. So what I do for my links, and you can download the app on your phone. I use Bitly. It's bit.ly. You can look it up in the App Store. And so what you can do is you can copy like a long link from an article or a Google form or whatever, drop it into Bitly, and it will shorten it. Like if you look at my profile right now, you can see my link is really short, even though the actual hyperlink is like a bazillion letters and numbers long because it's a Google form. But that is my best advice for shortening links. There's a couple others, but Bitly is free. It's easy. You can just do the app on your phone. There's ones you can use where you can like customize and make your own hyperlink. But it's, again, that stuff is fluffy, guys. Like you don't need it, like maybe one day, but right now that is not the stuff we need to be focusing on. Does that answer your question, Kelsey? Let me know if it doesn't. I think I've caught up on all the other questions, but let me know if you guys have any other questions. Bridget, thanks for adding Brock's username. Yeah, he just added 11 in there, Ashley, so he could use his name. So if you need to add a number in there or something so you guys can actually use your name, you can do that. Okay, let's keep rolling here. Okay. This is just talking about more of the business template. I think we've kind of talked about this enough, guys, for the most part. Sorry, I'm trying to let's talk about this a little bit more so we can talk about line one. No worries, Kelsey. Okay. So back to line 1 here, guys, like as you're thinking about niching down and who you help, the biggest thing to think about when you're talking about it is I help target market with this problem. Like that's the best way to think about it when you're trying to niche down. So I'm going to go back to look at some of these that you guys have. Okay. Ashley said, early rising mama of 2, red wine always, passionate about helping other women prioritize themselves, seeking justice for students in our world. I love that. So let's see. Passionate about helping other women prioritize themselves. So like if I'm thinking about the questions that like Shalene and Brock asked Ashley, like in our training, they would have said something like, what other characteristics do these other women have that you maybe have? Like, how do you guys, what kind of common interests? Like who are these women basically? What kind of women? Just digging into that, like kind of slowly uncovering those things. And that's what I'm doing right now too, because mine is, I help moms, but I have to continue to evolve that because I know that there's so many levels to that niche. So it's just really good to critically think about this, guys, like all the time. How do I get more specific? Who am I helping? Why am I helping? What kind of problem do they have? Heather said, inspiring moms to design their best life through health, home, and overall wellness. So Heather, my question for you would be like, designing their best life means what? Like, what are you helping them do? And how are you encouraging them? Or what are they starting to implement in order to design their best life, in order to live their best life? What are you teaching them? And what does that mean? So keep digging in on that. That would be, again, like I'm trying to really think about the Brock and Shalene specific questions. Bridget, I help busy moms gain energy and confidence while saving money. Saving money for what would be my question. Like, what are they saving for? Why does it matter that they save money? What kind of like, how would that change their life? What kind of extra freedom would it give them? What does it mean to them? Like, why is saving money something that they want? Like, what problem are they trying to, feel better about or work through by saving money, right? Those are the kinds of things just to continue to think about as you evolve your statement. Chelsea, the new mom of 2+ looking to identify herself and find her tribe. Ooh, I love that. I love that. Who is her tribe? Like, what are the kind of women in her tribe? Are they like, who are they? What do they like? Just digging into that. Identify herself by doing what? Like, how are you identifying yourself? Like, what kinds of things are you doing to help you feel like you have that sense of identity again? But these are all awesome, guys. Like, such a good starting point. Just keep thinking about those questions. Like, constantly, I'm constantly thinking to myself, how am I getting more specific? How am I niching down? What problem am I now trying to help people figure out? So those are that's my best advice on some of those. Thank you guys for sharing. And these are like, okay, so we'll read through some of these examples from the training. This gal, Kenya Kelly, is a TikTok expert, a brand and TikTok expert. Her line 1 is helping entrepreneurs build and market profitable brands online. Featured in Self Magazine is her credibility. And then learn your brand personality and click the link, right? And that's a direct link to a brand personality like test. So again, as we talked about, I have found that direct links typically seem to be just less messy. But again, you guys can kind of continue to follow or play with it. So this is just zoomed in here. Hold on. I'm trying to kind of get to, we talked about all this. Like I said, they did this in a PowerPoint, so scrolling through is not quite as pretty as being able to click through, but we'll keep going through here. But yeah, Kenya's was a profile that they went through and they said they really liked, very specific. Okay, here's another one. Trey, and you can see, so he has his name here, and they talked about this. He has his name in his profile as his name. And then he also had his name in his searchable bolded line. Again, that should be changed to whoever this guy is. Like they talked about how he needed to not duplicate his name. They already know your name. So talk about who you are, what you do, because this is a searchable term. I teach badass network marketers to build their biz online without hounding family and friends and without the fake it till you make it bullshit. And then a direct link to his class. This was interesting because they talked about how they wanted to see a little bit more credibility from him. They liked that he was really specific about, I teach people how to do this without doing this, which is awesome. But credibility here was one they talked about. So make sure you guys are dropping in that credibility in some way. And then this one, they talked about her profile or her actual profile name, changing it to her name, and then changing Danielle Fitzwater to who she actually is. And then just breaking this up a little bit. Like they said, emojis and stuff can be okay, but sometimes it can be a little bit busy. I want to see if they actually fixed this. I don't know if they actually fixed this one. I don't think they did. They just talked about it more. I'm trying to recall. Oh, here. Okay, they did fix it. Okay, so here's what she had originally. And a lot of us had this. Like, this is what I had at first. Mom to 4, wife to Dave, social work, like past swimmer, like just stuff that was just part of my life with emojis. I had like 1,000 emojis because I love emojis. But they talked about just really trying to figure out, okay, but who are you and like who are you helping? So this is how they helped her change it. I post fashion inspo for real moms who want to look and feel great on a budget. Confidently raising 3 boys, finds cute, comfy clothes here. And then she put a link. So again, niche down, moms, confidently raising 3 boys is her credibility. That's what she is really talking to and speaking to, which is awesome. So they talked about that. Let's keep going down here. I think that is pretty much it. The only other thing they talked about with this, that's it. Okay. The only other thing they talked about with this, guys, is the importance of being on Instagram stories consistently. And I know you guys are. But we're going to talk about this in our other trainings. But what I learned more than anything from Brock and Chalene is that your feed should be nothing but value. Nothing but value. And this has been a really big hurdle and growing pain for me because I share a lot of stories in there. I share a lot of pictures of myself and my family and my kids. But like the hardest part of that is nobody's ever going to share a picture of just me. Nobody's going to be sharing a picture of my kids. And so it's really the shift of figuring out, how do I create feed specific content that people want to actually share and save and, increase engagement overall on Instagram with. And so that is the biggest thing I learned. And the 2 ways you do that are, 1, through making sure that your activity ring on stories is always, shining, so to speak. Mine is not right now because I haven't done a story in a while, but like I see Melissa up there. I see Shalene's up there. You can see her. But guys, like doing your stories throughout the day is super, super important because you always kind of want your activity ring to be showing because that helps move you up to people's profiles to see at the top of your Instagram feed, so to speak. So they talked about the importance of the activity ring and stories and doing that throughout the day. That doesn't mean you have to be on all day long. That doesn't mean you have to do 500 stories. It just means it's good to kind of consistently check in on there every few hours at some point and sharing value. And then the last thing, again, that they really talked about was taking a critical look at your feed and just brainstorming. And that's kind of what I want to leave you guys with tonight is think about your feed right now. And ask yourself, okay, am I just sharing pictures of myself? Am I just sharing stories of myself? Do I basically just have an explanation of who I am and what I do and my journey in my feed? Because if you do, you are just like me because that's what I have. And now is the time to really think about how are you going to slowly start shifting away from that? Because Brock and Shalene really helped me understand that because of where I'm at, and this is where a lot of you guys are at too, being in the beginning of your businesses and the size of our followings, like the only true way we're going to be able to grow and find more people and connect more is by sharing content that people want to share, that people want to save, that adds value to their life in some way. So for me specifically, like the one thing that I've slowly figured out on my feed is people do really enjoy inspirational quotes and things like that. And I do get pretty good engagement and sharing and saves from those things. One of the things they talked about specifically is do not be afraid to share content from somebody else. The biggest thing you have to do is make sure you credit them. Okay. If they have specific branding intact, or if they have a specific message attached to what you share, just make sure that you leave it intact and call the person out. But don't ever feel like you can't share something that you see that you really resonates with you on your own feed so more people can share it. And I've started to do some of that, and it's been interesting to see how that's shifted some of my own engagement and some of my own like increased following and whatnot. I know for a portion of my coaching business, like I kind of felt like, oh my gosh, is that copywriting? Like, should I be sharing somebody else's message? Like, what if it's theirs? But the truth is, guys, like nobody's ever going to be mad about you sharing something that they share as long as you credit them and leave the branding intact and call them out and say, gosh, you are awesome. Thank you so much for this powerful message. I am so excited to share it with my people too. And then again, it like keeps the ripple effect going. So I think that's the biggest thing I want to kind of leave you guys with. Like, as you're thinking through making over your profile, niching down your 3 lines of your bio, and things like that, taking a really critical look at your feed and thinking about what am I sharing on here and what do I need to shift to make it more of a value add versus the Aaron Trier show. And that's kind of it's been really, really good for me. And I think, honestly, guys, I just don't think that this level of understanding is talked about enough. And it's so important. Like, I have not really thought about how your feed should be valued. Like, I've been sharing my story over there. I thought that's, what would be valuable to people. And it is valuable. Like, sharing your story and, sharing those things is important, but starting to shift slowly into more value add and getting super intentional rather than just throwing things up to throw things up in a post. It's just really important to start to think about, especially with the level we're at in the Instagram like space. And I'm learning that I'm an infant, like I'm an infant in the profile, like I'm an infant in the space. And so the way I share value and the way my feed should be and the way I engage is going to be different than somebody else who has 20, 30, 40, 50,000, 100,000. Like, it's just totally different. And it's just about embracing that and making shifts accordingly. So do you guys have any questions right now? I know it's 7:49. I want to be respectful of time. Does anybody have any questions based on the stuff we shared here? Anything that doesn't make sense or anything that I can answer for you at all? And Bridget, I don't know if you have anything else you want to add. Hey, buddy.
No, that was really, really, really good. And I want to encourage you. They're saying hi to you, but
hi, Turner.
He doesn't feel well. We all come back from vacation. We're all cold.
Oh,
I know. But the thing is, if you guys want us to, like, if you think of what your profile should say, whatever it might be, don't hesitate to reach out and ask us or be like, hey, I changed it. Check it out. What do you think? That's what Erin and I are here for. I appreciate Erin even looking at mine and giving me feedback, because I'm like, all right, now. And so now I'm sitting here spinning my wheels like, oh, and it's so hard when they only give you so many letters. I'm like, gosh,
I know.
So creative. Turner,
I know. I know. It is hard. It is hard when you have limited letters. You have to get extra creative and abbreviate and things like that. But
Yeah.
it's totally possible. It's like, just give yourselves time to like craft it and know that it evolves always. Like I'm constantly tweaking mine
Yeah.
all the time.
And I heard you say something about emojis. Did they deter you from using them, or that's just what you used to have all in there?
Sorry, I'm trying to plug my computer in. Oh God. I used to have a ton.
Yeah.
And now I have 2.
Okay.
It's not terrible, but honestly, like it takes up character space for no reason. Again, it's like one of those like fluff things.
Yeah.
It's like, it's fluff. Like, just like I think Linktree and Campsite Bio and some of those things can be, like, it's fluff. Like, just get to the point and tell people what you do and who you help, rather than adding in all this sparkly stuff.
I was thinking for mine, like to try to fit all the words, if I switch the word money to actually like a money symbol or an emoji of a money bag, then I'm like, well, that's only 1 character versus, 5 with the word money.
Yeah.
And so I'm like,
I think stuff like that is fine.
Okay. If you're using it as a part of the sentence, essentially, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's totally fine. I just had every single word had an emoji. Like, I like cookies and I put a cookie emoji, and then I was a swimmer and I put a swimmer emoji, and it's like totally overkill.
Yeah.
It's just stuff like that. But I think that's fine. Kelsey asked, how do you change the gray? I want to see in my account settings. Linked accounts. I might have to dig into that a little bit more, Kelsey. Bridget, I don't know if you know how to, like when you say what kind of, I might have to look into that, friend. I'll let you know, Kelsey. I can't think of the
time. I know where. Like type account, like category, are you meaning? The gray words? Like,
yeah, category.
Like coach or entrepreneur or something. So if you go into your profile, underneath it says public business information. You have your page, and then it says category, because I just changed mine again today. I like change it from blogger to coach to all these things. And so under public business information, there should be a spot that says category, is what mine says. You found it?
Wait, where is public?
So if you go to edit profile and you see your picture and then your name, your username, your website.
Oh. Okay.
Down even farther. And then you have to actually like type in coach. Like they have some suggested ones, but just type in what you're trying to find and you should be able to change it.
So it's like right there.
Yeah. Erin's showing you on her tiny screen.
Yeah. When you're clicking edit profile. Yeah, my tiny screen.
Because you're even tiny on ours because you're sharing your screen. Any recommendation for that? I don't know. Erin, what does yours say? I was like, actually,
honestly, go ahead.
I was just like, I don't think I can get rid of it now that I have it. Because I was like, well, does it really need to have anything? But I don't know. Honestly, I don't think it matters.
I don't know why it, honestly, I don't know why it's there. Brock and Shalene did not talk about that. From what I understand, the bolded line is what the searchable terms are. So I don't even know why it's there. I'm sure it's part of some sort of categorization on the back end or something. Who knows? Maybe that's how they calculate people following you and give you the demographics. I have no idea, but honestly, I don't think it really matters. I've shifted mine a little bit, and now I just have it as entrepreneur. But you can do it. You can do whatever speaks to you. I don't think it really matters.
So I'm looking at a ton of other people, and like they either have entrepreneur, blogger. Even Melanie Mitchell has business consultant, but she does a ton outside of Beachbody even.
Right.
Public figure, did I already say that? So you kind of can just play around with it. Public figure, someone else has. What is Kim?
I just think.
Kim doesn't even have one. It just says based in Canada.
Maybe you can, I don't know, Kelsey, play around and see if maybe you can just delete it. Maybe you can just leave it blank and then it won't show anything. I've never tried that. But you could try.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other questions or anything else that's overwhelming or doesn't make sense? I'm happy to give you guys more feedback on like what you guys have so far for your line one. Or talk. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. And there's going to be a lot more that we're going to talk about in every other week of training here. I just want to stick to the profile tonight.
Yeah, tonight was just the profile. Next week is going to be all about your feed and like the value add stuff.
Yeah, one question I want to ask you guys really quick before you leave is, for those of you that do have business profiles, do you know how to look at and understand the insights? Can you just drop yes or no in the chat? I just think it'll be good for us to know, like what kinds of things to specifically talk to you guys about as we're going through this training. So Nicole, yeah. So we're going to definitely really talk about how do you make sense of the insights, and how do they help you as you craft content and figure out how you want to add value. Okay. Bridget does. Awesome. I do, but I'm always learning more, Like there's all, and interestingly enough, with the recent Instagram update, if you guys haven't done it yet, they changed kind of the layout of the insights a little bit too. So it's kind of more intuitive and easier to see like what posts do well and how you see like, number of new followers per week and stuff. So we'll definitely talk about insights. It sounds like most of you guys know how to do it, but still learning. I'm still learning. We're all still learning. Instagram is a never ending evolving thing. So we are all still learning so much. Anything else right now, guys? Is this like a good launch point for like reevaluation with your profiles and kind of making them over? Yes. I'm excited to kind of share more. This training was so good. And then, as I said in the beginning, guys, like make sure that you're following Brock and Shalene. If I was going to give you one piece of advice, it would be to stop following coaches and start following people like Brock and Shalene and like business mentors that are really going to help like drill down important stuff for really finding ways to connect and engage with people in this platform. I've been trying to do that more and more, and it really makes a difference when you're not getting swarmed with other coaches and what the Beachbody Network is doing. I know it's easier said than done, but just something to kind of know. Anything else? Any other questions? Bridget, anything else you want to add? Did I get everything?
You got everything. I'm busy like working on my profile now, of course.
Like I said, just make sure you do your drafts like not in the profile, because it'll kick you out for 2 weeks. It makes you wait 14 days to make any updated changes once you've done it too many times.
That's on your name.
Your name, Anna, it's done it for me on my hyperlinks too.
Okay, it hasn't done me on my bio yet, which I've done it a lot in the last few weeks.
Interesting.
But my name, I've like done it twice now in the last 3 days. So I'm like, now I can't change it for a while.
Yeah. Eventually you can, but they like lock you out. I don't know. Instagram's an interesting thing. Chelsea, I'm glad it was helpful. We are all failing forward in this space together. Instagram and finding new people and niching down all the things. It's not easy. It's not easy. So I'm happy to kind of talk through this with you guys, and I'm excited to continue to learn more. Anything else, B? Are we good?
No, we
should we take a quick picture?
Yes.
Okay, we're ready. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yay. Thanks, guys. Sorry it was a full hour tonight. Thank you, East Coasters. I know you guys, oh my gosh. You guys are rock stars. I have to go to bed. Like you guys are rock stars over there. Oh my gosh.
No kidding.
So grateful for all of you. So grateful for all of you. If you guys have questions or need anything, let us know.
All right. Bye, guys.
Have a good night. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bridget.
I love it. Is that the hubbies?
No, my aunt sent it to me.
Oh my gosh, it's so cute.
They're up in Duluth, so she sent it